how ready the judiciary is for this very sensitive election. This affords us on the scale an opportunity to beam our searchlight into the judiciary and see how their mind is working towards elections. Of course, like they all said, the justices of the Supreme Court who met with the European Union, they all agreed that this is not their first outing in election dispute determination. And so this should not be any different. But because of the sensitivity of the time we find ourselves, it was important for the European Union team to talk with these key personalities in the judiciary and see how Nigeria can take benefit of their state of mind as we go into these general elections. So join us as we share this very important event with you on this program. It was a highly interactive visit to the Supreme Court of Nigeria with all the 14 justices of the nation's apex court in attendance, other than the two who currently have litigations against them, Justice Walter Onogen and Justice Sylvester Nguta. And the atmosphere was such as to allow for the raising of the most sensitive issues in the judiciary by the European Union team, based on the recent happenings in the land, all with the intent to engender confidence in the electoral system.
What is really important for us in the different issues that we are observing, I think the first thing is to observe the fact that all the process is respecting the law of Nigeria. We are not observing the process with different laws, even the European laws. What you have to observe is how the process is respecting your law in your country and your international commitment as Nigeria. So this is the first thing that we have to observe in our work. The second thing is important to give the message to the Nigerian population is the integrity of the process. And this is really important if we together want people trusting this process. And trust in a country is the most important thing. If people don't trust in a process, in a democratic process, is really dangerous for a country. So I think this trust and integrity is something that we are observing in the work of the different experts. And of course, the responsibility of all stakeholders. Public stakeholders, they are the most responsible of the process. INEC, but also the judiciary, it's important because we know that when there is a contest, it is the role of the judiciary to make the rule and to make it respect. So it's important to have this responsibility respected by all public organizations, INEC, judiciary, but also security agencies, because security is also a matter in a country like this. So for us, these are the main important messages. And you know, because I'm not a diplomat. I'm not a diplomat. This is something else. But you know that when it comes to judiciary, and when the result of an election is really neck to neck, this is the role of the judiciary. And so the independence of this judiciary is important for the parties and the party leaders. And I must say that the situation of Chief Justice, for the timing and for the process, has been a concern for us as observers. And so perhaps you can give us more information about this situation. How do you feel that people trust the judiciary in Nigeria, and how is it possible to regain if something is lost? during the rest of the process, because I think it's really, really important for people, for the future of Nigeria. And if we can share more information on this, it could help us also for the report that we will have. As you know, we will have a first preliminary statement 2 days after the election day. After, we will have another one in March, after the election for the governors. And we will have a final report 2 months after. And this final report, it is not to say, because it is not our role as observer, it is not to say these elections are labeled by the European Union. These elections have to be labeled by Nigeria, not by us. Yeah. What we put in this report is recommendation for the future. Because as you said, democracy is a process, and it has nothing to do with developing on non-developed country. Nothing. I'm from Europe, and I can assure you that in some countries of Europe, we lack of democracy for the moment. So it is, I think democracy is something that we can share, and we have to observe together to make it in the right way instead of making it backwards. And it is not a question of continent, it is not a question of a country. Democracy is always fragile. And so we have to work together to guarantee people that democracy is really important to fight for.
We also attend the Code of Conduct Tribunal when we were aware that the suspended Chief Justice had received a warrant of arrest. And I was wondering if this issue is going to affect the image that the people has about judiciary. Because I know that people has a very high idea about judiciary, but in such a period so close from elections, I just wonder if you think that it's going to have an effect in the judiciary and the petitions that they will come after.
All our previous election observation reports, and of course the one which will come out after this election will also be a public report. So they are of course made available to everyone and be presented at the press conference on the 18th as well.
One after the other, the justices, beginning with the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, pointed to the inbuilt disciplinary, constitutional, and independent mechanisms of the Nigerian judiciary.
We have first self-respect and confidence in ourselves. And we are sure the society reposes its confidence in the judiciary. This is not the first time we had elections in this country. And this is not the first time matters reach up to the Supreme Court in terms of election matters. Now, as usual, we don't have anything at stake. If any of the justices or any of the members of the tribunal set has any interest in anything, we ask them to disclose those interests to us. And from there, we disqualify you from sitting, so that the whole society will see our objectivity, that we are objective, we are sincere in treating these matters. We don't have anything at stake. When we make selections of the judges to participate, now before they are brought here, we almost screen each and every one of them. We are quite confident that they are trustworthy, they are sincere, and they are able to perform without any failure. If there is any petition on any one of them, we ask him to respond. And if it is true then we ask him to recuse himself from that participation, and we appoint another person. That will show the society our transparency, our honesty, and our dedication to service. Now, with regards to timing, it depends on when they start the election and when they finish the election, and when they file their petitions. For example, the tribunals, each of the tribunal has 180 days within which to deliver its judgment. Then, if it's going on appeal at all, then the appeal court is 760 days within which to. Now, despite this constraint of time, still, we work day and night to see that we deliver judgments so that everything is smooth and we don't allow the country to go a break, because until and unless we treat it with dispatch, there'll be a lot of problems here and there. Therefore, we take full charge, we take full control. And let me rest assure you, neither the executive nor the legislature has control over us. We do our responsibility, which has been given to us by the Constitution, without fear, affection, or ill will. So therefore, by the time we sit over all these appeals or the petition itself, we are certainly sure that we have entrusted it to people who are trustworthy, who are confident, and who can do it well. That's why after the election tribunals have finished, you find no more complaints, because everybody will see the clarity of what we have done. So that is what we do, despite the time constraint. Now, I think I should tell you, when it comes to treating these election matters, we suspend our normal sitting on normal appeals. For example, if you are treating an issue between an individual and another, we suspend all those ones. We now deal with these election matters so that we finish them within time and everybody knows whether he is the one who has succeeded or not. That is what we have been doing. And I rest assured the AU that definitely we will stick to our guns and we shall remain unshaken and we shall do what the law expects us to do.
What is happening in the judiciary with the leadership of the judiciary, that has nothing to do with our judgments. That is something completely different. It has nothing to do with what we are expected to do as regards petitions coming from dissatisfied politicians who don't like how the elections went and things like that. It is our duty to correct that and say what is the correct position. That has nothing to do with the leadership of the judiciary. I completely agree with the acting Chief Justice in all what he said, and I hope what I've said threw a bit more light on now the situation generally.
Of Nigeria, from his opening remarks and comments thereafter, has brought to light the content and the extent of our work. And my brother here also has, I believe, answered your question on the matter of the leadership. There are two different things altogether. As for our responsibility in discharging our duty on the electoral disputes that would naturally come, we are at top of our game. if I could use the language of the footballers. And there is no fear at all, because we operate within the constitutional provisions and the Electoral Act in the context of the facts before us. Everything is open. Our proceedings are in the open, public, and our judgments are in the streets immediately they are delivered. So what brought about a particular decision is open to everyone to see. So that is the situation.
The applicability of the law to the facts that come before us. And when the time comes, and when we do that, that will be the basis of whatever assessment any individual can lawfully and justifiably, irrespective of who is involved. And I think that is the take here.
The observers from the European Union, I join the RCCJ in welcoming you to Nigeria and wish you a very happy stay. All I can say is to join my brother justices in agreeing with what has already been said as regards the work we do here.
In this country, nobody accepts that they've lost an election. And as has been said, for us in the courts, we are independent, we are sworn an oath, we decide the cases based on the facts and the law. Now you will find a lot of commentary by people who have not even read the decisions that we have rendered in many cases. But it's also obvious, because you have been observing for quite a while, I want to believe that you've also appreciated that as the years have gone by, there have been a lot of improvements. And because of the decisions rendered by our courts, it has made politicians a lot more cautious. Yes, they try to find other ways around some of the decisions we have given, but they do respect those decisions.
Coming anywhere. So for all of you to actually decide you are still going to come despite whatever story, I adopt everything that my learned brothers have had to say, but I wanted to add that once it's assigned, and I'm actually dealing with it, now looking at the facts, I can't now add, there's been a dichotomy between what is actually going on and what comes before.
And we are still responsible and loyal to that oath. That notwithstanding, our decisions are based on application of the law to empirical facts that have been disclosed by admissible legal evidence. Nothing more. At our level, we try to review what the lower tribunals have done, whether they did it correctly or not correctly. That's all we have.
You know, Nigeria is a peculiar country. Today, we hear so much about the fake news. And politicians, we know they are terrible people. They are Nigerian politicians. So, whatever information you might have come across, I think you have to look at it with microscopic legal eyes to be able to sift the truth from that which is not the truth. I had a personal experience in 2007. I was part of the presidential panel, and there was this information that we were even given oil wells to give judgments. If you take such allegations, serious allegations, and then rely on it, then we are really in a serious problem. So we have to be cautious in whatever we do.
And to say that democracy is still evolving. This is a system that we borrowed, and we are still working to perfect it. And I know even those who brought this to us are also still struggling. And I know you see some lapses here and there. that you take it that it is a practice with somebody who is learning and will continue to learn.
Rest assured that the judiciary is not deterred by the recent happenings, and those are the words of the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, along with the other justices of the Supreme Court. They all took turns speaking and reassuring the world through the European Union delegation that the Nigerian judiciary still remains as steadfast as it has always been. Of course, you notice that each of them emphasized the inbuilt mechanism in the judiciary to check itself and make sure that there is integrity in their judgments. Thank you for being part of the program, and we shall be opening up other vectors of our polity and our law in the days to come. We'll see you again.
This is the network service of the NTA.